yelling and all that good stuff. Had a bit of a family emergency to get to. Took care of everything, but we're back live, ready to go with another housing debrief. Wanted to welcome everybody to yet another one of these Fridays, 3:00 in the afternoon housing debrief, and this one should be fun. Enlightening everybody as to what I am seeing, all the different nuances and changes in the marketplace, and this is of course not an exception. That is for sure. I want to make sure. I have the right sound, all that good stuff. Let's make sure we have the right audio. Let's see, Yeti. There we go. It is the audio output. Input is the Yeti. So we are ready to go. All right, let's get this party going. Welcome. Happy Friday. I think I've given an adequate amount of time for everybody to come on. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Ooh, I need to do one more thing. Of course, forgot to do this. Bear with me for a second. I have to have my second screen in order to see what I am doing. And here we go. All right. So, okay. Now I am going to project my thing. Let's see. Pardon me. Literally ran in here, got everything going, and here we are. Okay, so good to go. Oh, went dark. What in the heck is going on? Oh, there I am. That was weird. Hello, everybody. We're live. We're ready to go. Good afternoon. Hello, Ryan. Hello, Nancy. Great to see everybody. Let me get to the point where we can share our screen, get this party going. And here we are, Housing Debrief, episode 3. And I am the man behind the wheel here at Stephen Thomas with Reports on Housing. This is what I do. And I'm a housing analyst. Been a housing analyst since 2004. Been in the real estate industry since 1991. I have the credentials to go ahead and pick apart the housing market and see exactly what's going on and share what all the data and charts are showing at this time. So let's go ahead and begin. That is my nerdy title. It's Quantitative Economics and Decision Sciences. And just a shout out to Ryan and Lisa Dunn. Welcome aboard, and glad you guys could make it. Our company is Reports on Housing. It's your local real estate snapshot. It's about driving home the strength and power of data. I would like for everybody, I prefer everybody, of course, go on. A lot of people go on Facebook, but if everybody can make their way over to YouTube, become a subscriber. It's my handles, Reports on Housing. And if you could go there, subscribe to my channel and like my videos, that would get our, YouTube has their different algorithms so that more eyeballs can see the truth and find out exactly what's going on, because there's so much misinformation. It is very, very hard. So like, subscribe, ignore the misinformation. We want to fight the misinformation that's out there by bringing you content like the Housing Debrief. So anyhow, let's go ahead. Of course, a couple funny things. Me waiting on a call, text, email, or smoke signal from the listing agent with news I can share with my buyers. This is hard because as a listing agent, you're going to receive 30 offers. But I heard somebody say, "Hey, you know what? You get like 500. You take the time to wish everybody a happy birthday. Take the time to let somebody that brought you an offer know that their offer was not accepted, and they actually read it." So, but that's one of the things. How about waiting to hear back from the listing agent after submitting my buyer's offer? I get this. When you're 1 of 30, you're hoping that you're it, but it's kind of like winning the lottery at that point. So when you do have the winning bid, you are quite excited. But of course, waiting for the answer can be a little exhausting. And so that brings us to, I meant to have, but since I was running in here, I don't have my bottle of Rosé with a glass of Rosé, but I should have it right here, because it's like, if you remember at the beginning of COVID, we used to have our happy hour Fridays Lisa Dunn suggested that a while back, and we started doing that, but and doing a Q&A kind of happy hour Friday type of thing. But we're only bringing this content once a week, and I would love to sip a glass of rosé with you, but in person. How's that sound? The 10-year Treasury has been doing some wacky things. We've kind of talked about these things before, but this is going to bring us to affordability of how things are unaffordable, because I'm not seeing that red flag yet, but I am seeing a rosé flag. It's not quite red, but it's making its way there. And that's because I follow a few different things. So the 10-year Treasury closely mirrors what we're doing with the appetite for investors to the same appetite that they have for 10-year treasuries. The investors is kind of very similar to the appetite that they have for 30-year mortgages. And when there's a lot of volatility like there is now, this 10-year treasury has been going all over the place. And so has 30-year mortgages have been bouncing a little bit around, especially since the very, very beginning of this year. And you can see this was the beginning of this year. From the end of December through the first few weeks of January, we popped up. We went up 0.5%. The 10-year Treasury rose considerably as well at the same time. So that's where we saw interest rates go up 0.5%. Then they were flat for a little bit, like a week, and then we had a big giant job report came out that beat expectations. Then we had inflation that was through the roof that beat expectations and went up. And then we've had it's kind of stayed flat, but it's even gone down a little bit because of what's happening over in Eastern Europe with Russia and the war that has ensued. So because of that, there's been some volatility within the 10-year Treasury. It's actually come back up today. This was taken earlier. I think we just hit 2%. So we're back at that 2% threshold. And 2% is where we have right around 4% interest rates. So it hasn't busted beyond 2%. There would have to be another shoe that drops for that to happen. But as you can see, this is the primary mortgage market survey that goes back over 51 years. And this is with 1.20% down, and it has spiked. It spiked, and then you could see it went up, was flat, up. It's kind of flat, went down slightly over the last week, and this was taken on Thursday. But there's a little bit more volatility. We'll probably see interest rates continue to go flat until we see something else that happens in either the global economy or global events, kind of like what we're dealing with now, or if something else happens that comes in with a hot economic number. And if you see, this is COVID-19, this is where it began. But if we draw a line across, we're all the way back to May of 2019 as far as interest rates are concerned. So that is very important, because to understand that our interest rates at where they're at today are as high as they were back in May of 2019, which indicates the following. It indicates that while 3.8 or 3.89% are pretty much right around 4% interest rates, 4% interest rates are higher than where we were before for the since COVID. So we went into COVID. We have had these great interest rates, and they drove a lot of demand. And now that we have interest rates that are back at 4%, that's not really what's driving demand at this point. I have heard some arguments where people say, yeah, it's driving demand, but I'm starting to see some things that are saying, yeah, it's not really driving demand. It's the scarcity of homes that's pretty much driving demand at this point. And inflation is one of the big reasons that we're having, this giant increase in the 10-year Treasury and mortgage rates, as well as what's gone on with the Fed. And of course, as well, right now, recently, with what's gone on over in Eastern Europe and the war that has ensued. So that is something that we know that can develop over time, and the stock market could go down. And today it recovered. It had a really big day today, the stock market. So the 10-year Treasury actually popped back up, but there could be another blow where we see interest rates fall, as well as the 10-year Treasury. And once again, we also see Wall Street take a dip. So it's been very, very volatile. Understand that right now, the geopolitical atmosphere right now it is as heightened as it almost has been in years. So we really haven't had this kind of a confrontation where it's going to trickle down to all the economic numbers, as we can already see at the gas station fuel pump. And this will also, short term, we could see interest rates come down because of this, but long term, it's going to feed more inflation. And as we know, inflation, the only way to fight this is with higher rates. So that's why it's this kind of thing, while it may be temporary, where we see interest rates fall, long term, it could push interest rates even higher. So something that we're watching. So because of where the 30-year mortgages have gone, we are now at that, what I refer to as a Rosé flag. And has to do with that, the affordability. And affordability is it. We focus so heavily on price. That's just one aspect of it. But we also have to focus on incomes. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They just focus on price. So incomes are a lot different than they were in the past. They're a lot higher. And interest rates. Interest rates were a lot lower, so it made things a lot more affordable. But with interest rates popping 1%, suddenly there is a big change in how things are affordable. And I look at this over time, but now plugging in a higher interest rate does different things. And this is compliments of California Association of Realtors. And what is going on with the California Association of Realtors is they have this historical housing affordable index that they have. And if you see Los Angeles, everybody likes to compare everything to 2006, but look at where 2006 was. It was at a very, very painful spot. And that is because just about anybody could get a loan. And there was a lot of these teaser rates, and there was 0% down loans, no money down. And people were getting in at these very, very low initial rates, and then they change over time, and they couldn't afford the rates, their mortgage payments when they did increase. So this is the historical housing affordable index for, if you see, for Los Angeles in 2006, it was at 9%. And that's 9% of the median income earner could afford a property. So it's only 9% of the population. So if you look at Orange County, it was 10%. Can afford the median sales price home. And in Riverside, it was 17%. And in San Bernardino, it was 22%. And in San Diego, it was 9%. Flash forward to 2020, when rates got really good. This is about the second quarter of 2020. LA was at 31%. We're able to afford it. Orange County at 25, Riverside at 43, San Bernardino at 54, and San Diego at 30. And then right now, and this is the fourth quarter of 2021, but keep in mind, we had interest rates right above 3%, like 3.05%. Now, the next one that comes out is going to be very, very telling and very interesting, because they're going to be factoring a much higher rate, close to 4%. And this is where it was at as of the fourth quarter of 2021. You're looking at Los Angeles at 21%. So it's gone from 31% to 21%. Orange County went from 25% to 17%. It's in the teens, can afford the median sales price home. And in Riverside County, it's from 43% to 32%, San Bernardino from 54% to 42%, and San Diego from 30% down to 23%. Now, that is a big change. And you can see, while it's not quite as bad as 2006, but we're not going to get to 2006 because lending standards are so much different. But understand that with this pop in interest rates, that we're going to see the deterioration of these, and we're going to see this change, so that it's going to come to the point where we're going to lose some buyers within the marketplace, and which we've already seen with the number of purchase applications that have come in. And purchase applications have actually been down 3 weeks in a row. And I'm not talking refinance, I'm talking purchase applications. In a time frame when you typically have some growth in purchase applications, we're starting to see this trend evolve where it's fewer purchase applications right now. So that means that while there are a lot of buyers in the marketplace that have already put in their purchase application, as far as new ones that are going to keep this market going, it's starting to shrink a little bit because of where rates are at when you factor in where payments are at. And speaking of that, so if we take the median sales price, this is January's detached median sales price for these different counties. And this is also compliments of California Association of Realtors right there. And then I assumed an 80% loan to value. And then I'm going to plug in 3.05%, because that's where we were right at the end of December. And now, oops, I did these backwards, I believe. Let's see if I did do them backwards. We're now at 4.25. Looks like I did the wrong one. Anyhow, yes. So this doesn't really quite tell the full scene there. Let's see. I copied the wrong one, and let's see. If I go to this, I could actually. There we go. This tells it better. All right. So this is live, and we're making up for different errors that you have. But anyways, if you see this, and basically, we're looking at Los Angeles has an $800,960 median sales price. Orange County is at $1,195,000 detached median sales price. Riverside's at 590, San Bernardino's at 450, and San Diego's at 875. So I'm assuming 20% down, and you go from 3.05% to 4%, about where we are today. And you're looking at a monthly increase of, in LA, $340 per month in just the last 30 days. So you wait an extra 30 days. Now you're paying an extra $340 per month in LA, or $4,080 extra per year. In Orange County, it's $508, and that's $6,100 per year. In Riverside County, it's $250, $3,000 per year. San Bernardino's at $191, or $2,292 per year, and San Diego's at $372, and it went to $4,464 extra annually. And you can see that this is it's creating you're going to have fewer buyers that are going to bite off on this. And that is what we're starting to see in the marketplace as far as purchase applications are concerned. And you could see that, like, Orange County is, of course, the highest. And you could see when you have a very, very high sales price, a change of 3.05 to 4% is significantly different. You're adding a lot to the monthly payment, and annually that adds up fast. And that is what I was trying to show initially in that. And that's when we now go from 3.05 to 4.25. Now you're looking at significantly more. In LA, it's $5,200 extra per year. In Orange County, it's $7,764. Riverside County, $3,828. San Bernardino, $2,916. And San Diego, $5,676. The bottom line is, it is a lot more money on a monthly basis. And that is if it gets up to 4.25. This is where I thought, if we get to that 4.25 mark, regardless of what people say, because people have their different opinions, I'm looking at affordability based upon median income, as well as interest rates, as well as where prices are, and then how much of the monthly payment, how much of somebody's monthly income is devoted to the payment. So I'm looking at the average person. And this is where it's starting to get rosé. And it's starting to get rosé, especially in Orange County and Los Angeles and San Diego. More along the coast is probably a little bit more rosé. We're starting to see that because of the higher price ranges. When you go up from 3% to 4%, or even from 3% all the way up to 4.25%, that is such a significant change that it will start to shake up the marketplace. And let's see. So once again, I wanted to point out that we have that we have higher interest rates. They're at that 3.9%, right around there. Remember, this is 1 point and 20% down. Not everybody does that. They want to put no points. If you're no points, this is 0.25% typically higher than where this is at. So we're looking at interest rates above 4%. And this is what is causing a little bit of angst with some potential buyers that are out there, where they're opting not to purchase at this time. And we talked about that. So this is why my flag has gone up for rosé. It's because of where interest rates are at. And but I want to get into the housing market now. So I hope that was detailed enough. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer anything along those lines. But first, I want to thank our sponsor. He's our buddy, your buddy, my buddy, Kevin Buddy at Monarch Coast Financial. And yes, that's right. He deals with more than one kind of borrower. And there's, of course, more than one kind of loan. And he deals with everything from full documentation loans to alternative documentation, investor financing, and private money. So pretty much, if you somebody that needs a loan, Kevin Buddy can do it. and he has loads of experience dating all the way back to 1976, the centennial for our country. And so he has loads of experience. So tap into his knowledge. He knows a lot about the economy and has his ideas on interest rates and where they're headed, all that good stuff. And you can contact my buddy, your buddy, Kevin Buddy at Monaco Financial, and he can help you like he helped my own family out on our own refinance and did a fantastic job. 949-422-2075. That's 949-422-2075. And let's get back to the housing market because I want to let you know what's going on. But first, I have a couple of visitors. This is it. Athena Rose.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
What are you doing this weekend?
Gonna sleep.
She's gonna sleep because she doesn't have soccer this weekend. Exactly. Gonna sleep. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rest and relax and have some fun. And who else are we gonna introduce here? Oh, who's this guy? What's going on tomorrow in your life, buddy?
Track.
Oh, track. What's going on in track?
I'm doing the 1500.
So he's running a mile at the crack of dawn. As a parent, I love cheering him on. Crack of dawn, I don't cheer that on. But we're gonna do it, right? We're going to rock. We're going to have fun. This is going to be fun. It's all the way in Long Beach, so it should be fun. Anyhow, thank you very much. And we have one more person coming up last. Who's this?
Hi.
Do we have anything fun going on this weekend?
Yes, I finally have a soccer scrimmage.
Yes, right on. Boom. What's your position that you play?
Center mid.
Center mid, which means she anchors that offense and defense. She's involved in just about everything. She's a studette. Right on. That's all we have here at the Thomas household right now is these three individuals. So there you are. The housing market right now is absolutely insane. And I've talked about it before. It's the supply catastrophe that we're dealing with. It's when you have no supply, it really is a problem. And a matter of fact, this is Altos research. I showed you this last week. Show it to you again because it's lower than where it was last week. The lowest of all time was April 30th of last year at 307,000. On Monday, it was reported from Altos Research at 247,842. So pretty much 248,000 homes on the market, which is down 20% from last April, that low that we received. So the market across the United States is similar to what we're experiencing here in Southern California at 248,000. Where we should be headed towards is about 1 million homes on the market. And that we're going to come far short of that. So this supply shortage is going to continue this year in 2022. And the supply, this is SoCal, it's just nothing's available. Last week, we're at 12,700 homes, which was a 3% rise from the 2 weeks prior. Actually, that 3% was actually, we typically don't rise that much during that time of the year. So it was up 3%. That was the largest rise since 2018 for that time period. And last year at the same time, we were at 16,271. And there was not enough homes last year, and there's fewer homes this year. The 3-year average is 35,000 homes. So you could see if we're at 12,700 and we need to be at 35,000, that is almost triple where we are today. And today we're at 12,628. So we do the numbers once a week, and we have a definitive. It actually dropped from 12,701 to 12,628. So actually went down a little bit in the last week, and that is because of this. When things are placed on the market, they go directly into escrow, and they don't have enough time to accumulate on the market. So our inventory is very, very low. But there is something that I have to report. It's a trend that I've seen that is concerning to me. And it's that this lack of homes coming on the market. We really are dealing with not enough homes on the market. And I've talked about it before in SoCal. For 2020 and 2021, we're missing 50,000 homes for those 2 years. That's 9% fewer homes coming on the market. January of this year, we missed close to 5,000 homes in 1 month. It was down 22% from the 3-year average. Something is going on. I thought it may have been Omicron, but I wanted to see, and I gave it enough time and did an analysis of the first couple of weeks of February, because that was the most missing for sale signs of January, was the most missing sale signs since May of 2020. And if anybody remembers what we were doing in May of 2020, we were all locked down. I had kids all over the place doing school from home, and that was a norm. So something's going on in the marketplace right now. And for the first 2 weeks of February, we're actually down 17% or missing another 1,800 homes. So So the difference between 17 and 22%, I think, is Omicron, but there is a real reason for this, I think. And this is a trend, and it's a trend I'm following, and I'm going to probably report up on what the rationale of why this is happening next week. And a bit of it has to do with affordability, but that's not really what's keeping people from not placing their homes on the market. It is something else, but we'll get into that. That's just a teaser for next week, because the spigot for a number of homes coming in the market is slowly but surely, it is shutting down even more. And we're in midst of February. This is typically an okay time to place your home in the market. We really get going next month in March, and then it gains speed in April, and May is the most homes that come on the market. So we'll have to see if this is just a temporary trend that we're witnessing for January and February, or if it will continue. But I think a lot of it has to do with where interest rates are today, and a lot of it has to do with what homeowners are currently locked into payment wise and interest rate wise right now today as well. So we'll get into that next week. SoCal demand, there's been a line at just about every property that comes on the market because of the scarcity of homes on the market. Because it was originally these low interest rates that was fueling demand, but that's not what it is. I talked about it as being it's the scarcity of homes on the market where there's just not enough homes, and there's this fear of missing out. So when there's very few of anything, you want to be a part of it and you want to get it. It's kind of like what we did when we hoarded toilet paper when we really didn't need it, and a lot of people got extra toilet paper that they then were using probably the course of a year. That's how much toilet paper people stocked up on when we initially went into this pandemic, because I'm not going to have any. That's a little bit of what's feeding into what's going on right now, and we'll be able to talk about that and peel back that onion next week. But right now, I know, and talking to a lot of agents and knowing where the inventory levels are at and where current demand levels are at, that everything is selling for over asking, and this will show out in the numbers as California Association of Realtors starts to talk about the number of homes that close above their asking price. So this will start showing in the February close sales and especially in March close sales. We could get north of 70% of everything in the state of California on a monthly basis selling for above asking price for, I think, a couple of months, but we'll have to see, because if these interest rates stick at 4% or stay there, that will start to eat into the number of houses that sell above their asking price. So that's something that we'll have to continue to watch. But demand readings, this is a snapshot of the last 30 days, the last month of new escrow activity. And last week we were at 15,200. It was up 9% in a 2-week period of time. Last year at this time it was 18,600. That's 22% higher than where we are today. So we were dealing with more homes in escrow because there were more homes coming on the market, and there was a higher inventory of available homes. 3-year average, 15,355, which is actually pretty high. It's actually higher than where we are right now, slightly across Southern California. So you see, we're right now where we were prior to COVID, but it would be a lot higher if we just had more product, more homes available. Today we're at 15,605. While it went up 2%, this isn't like screaming upwards anymore. And that has a lot to do with the number of homes that are continuing to be placed into the grounds and into the ground in front of a listing. So it's just, there's just not enough for sale signs. How fast is this market? It's screaming fast. The expected market time, you place your home on the market, when are you opening escrow? Last week, we're at 25 days. It went down 1 day in a 2-week period of time. The lowest reading ever was April 1st at 23 days. Last year, we were at 26 days. And the 3-year average is 69 days. Guess what? Today, we're at 24 days. It went down another day. So we're very close to the lowest reading ever, which was April 1st of last year. And we could get there in the month of March and even go lower below this. So, there are some markets that are already hitting it. LA is already at a record low, and it went down 1 day from that record last week. It was at 31 days. Now it's at 30 days this week. Orange County was at 20 days last week, which is record, still at 20 days. Riverside is down to 20 days. That's down a day in the last week. And San Bernardino is at 26 days, down 2 in the last week. And San Diego's at 18 days. It was at 19 last week, which was a record. It's at 18. It's also a new record for San Diego County. You can see how busy or how hot the market feels based upon the lack of supply and the number of buyers in the marketplace right now. So that's all I have for you guys today for the housing debrief. If you want a copy of this, you need to be a subscriber. You can go to reportsonhousing.com to subscribe and hit that subscribe button. Also, like this video, subscribe to the videos as well on YouTube. And we have reports that all over Southern California. It's $15 per month or $150 per year. You get a month free if you sign up utilizing the coupon code February. And that will be going away in a few days. So you better get your reports. And the most recent one is That's a Lie. I didn't do finish on. This was from 2 weeks ago. Going. There is a new report that came out, and it's really about talking about with these higher rates, if they hold. That's where we could see the final shift in this marketplace, where the market will shift. And there really can be a shift in the marketplace. I'm already starting to see it in the purchase application index is starting to show it. And I'll start to see it in other numbers. If we stay where we're at, which we are right now, or even go higher, then absolutely, it will definitely start to make its way into the rest of the numbers. And that's what I have for you today. Let's see if I have any questions from anybody. I'm sure. Yeah, that's funny. That is very funny, David Baum. Market times are inflated because with so many offers, it takes a week to sort through them. If sellers accepted great offers as soon as they came in, the market times would be several days less. I agree with that, but still, we're going to be comparing apples to apples in the marketplace. I know that the median sales price of all closed sales for the month of January, the median was 10 days. It was down to 7 back in July of last year. I have a feeling that we're very close to that 7 for the median days on market as well. But that's a good point. The market is almost instantaneous if you price a home right. You stretch over your skis, which I absolutely do not recommend. I'm going to go contrary to what a lot of agents say. I think you can expose the market as many people as possible. You're doing your sellers an absolute favor. None of this pocket listing stuff. I think that that's a bunch of nonsense, and we can have arguments about it, but I love a healthy debate. That's for sure. But pocket listings, you're definitely not getting the most exposure you possibly can, because you can do, instead of a pocket listing, you could say, okay, how about we have the house shown for 4 hours on Saturday? That's it. Collect all the offers. There'll be lots of offers. It will sift through them all, and then we'll get it professionally cleaned after everybody comes through. You won't even know anybody came through, and you'll have lots of offers to work from, and it'll be like a bidding situation, and you'll get the most amount of money for your property. I think that's the best bet versus any kind of a pocket listing that's out there. If somebody says, yeah, I don't want anybody to know it's on the market, or I only want to expose it to one person, we're all in sales. We need to show them why they can make a lot more money by exposing it to the marketplace. So I think that that's just the smartest thing you could do. Let's see. And I will provide copies. I don't see any other questions other than one. We have Robert asking, do you think salaries have or will increase commensurate with the increase in interest rates from 3 to 4% in line with inflation? Yeah, there is a lot of pressure right now on salaries and things like that. If there is enough of volatility in the economy and a lot of different things go on as we get to full employment, and as we get more, if people stop spending as much, we could start to see that they won't need to hire as many people. There's a whole bunch of different factors that you have to watch. You have to watch employment. You have to look at retail sales. You have to look at the whole mix. Right now, the way it works, it's going to continue to be stoked, and the fires will continue to be stoked right now of inflation. And also, we're watching rents go up quite a bit, very fast right now. And we know that part of that consumer price index includes where rents are. And so we know that that's applying even more pressure to it. So there's a lot of pressure on inflation, and within pressure on inflation comes pressure on salaries because of the lack of employees that are out there, and because of that, you're getting more pressure on wages, which puts more pressure on pricing, which creates a snowball effect in inflation. And that's what the Fed's trying to get a lid on, and that's why we're seeing so much more volatility in the stock market. And yet the Fed hasn't even begun increasing the short-term interest rates, and they haven't even begun to drain their balance sheets so that the mortgage-backed security market can function solely on its own. We're going to start to see more and more of that volatility as this year progresses. So we could see that could put a lid finally on inflation down the road, and that will help out also in wages. And if the economy just slows down just a smidge, I think we're going to start to see that trickle down into the economy. But that's a lot of I think. So we're going to have to see how it all plays out. And you know who's going to be following it? I'm going to be following it, play by play. So yeah, I like that. So Robert said, so hence no effect on affordability. Yeah, I can understand that, but I also have to understand that the increase from 3 to 4% might be in line with inflation, but I don't think. I think that that you have a point in the fact that you're going to see wages rise a bit so that they can afford it on a monthly basis, but that's not entirely the way that people work. Yes, and that is a good point. That is something that definitely we should probably do something on in the future and talk about it in the future, because you could see that if you have wages going up at a certain rate, that it will cover the difference in interest rate inflation in interest rates. But it also doesn't cover all the inflation of all goods, including gas, including everything else, and also the inflation of interest rates. So there's a lot that factors into there, and it's enough where when it all happens at once, the human experience is, yeah, you know what? I'm going to wait, and I'm not going to buy right now. And it's too volatile right now. There's nothing to purchase. I heard it's a nightmare. So there's enough of that's going to happen where we're going to start to see it in the data, even though that is a very good point. And it's probably something we should devote a housing debrief to in the future. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, Robert. So everybody have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on the other side of this. Thank you once again for staying tuned in to another fabulous housing debrief, and we will see you next